How does Quasi-Suspect classification relate to equal protection? Imagine a world where laws treat some groups differently just because of who they are. That's where the idea of equal protection comes into play. The government is not supposed to discriminate unfairly against anyone. But sometimes, the law makes distinctions based on certain group characteristics. That's when courts step in to decide if those differences are justified. Quasi-suspect classification is a legal term used when the government classifies people into groups that have faced discrimination in the past. Think about groups like women or children born outside of marriage. These groups are protected because they have a history of unfair treatment. Courts review laws that treat these groups differently using something called intermediate scrutiny. Intermediate scrutiny means the government has to prove that the law serves an important purpose. It also has to show that the law is closely related to achieving that purpose. This is a higher standard than just guessing that a law is okay but not as strict as the rules for race or national origin. Those are called suspect classifications, and they get the highest level of review, called strict scrutiny. Suspect classifications like race or ethnicity are protected because of their history of discrimination. Laws that treat people differently based on race are very likely to be struck down unless they are absolutely necessary for a compelling reason. But for groups like women or children born outside of marriage, the law is more careful. It has to meet the intermediate level of review. Knowing how courts analyze these classifications helps you understand your rights. If you belong to a group that is considered quasi-suspect, the government must justify laws that discriminate against you with a good reason. Laws that unfairly target these groups are more likely to be challenged and struck down. In simple terms, the Equal Protection Clause stops unfair discrimination. Courts use different tests depending on the group involved. Quasi-suspect classifications get a middle level of review, which means the government has to show that its law is important and closely related to that goal. This protects groups like women and children born outside of marriage from unjust laws. Being aware of this helps you see when the law is on your side and when it might be protecting your rights from unfair treatment.